So have you all ever been to the mirror house?
To the
Have you
What is
ever
that?
been to the mirror house?
mirror house.
Mirror house.
Mirror
Yes,
house
yes,
is glass.
yes, yes,
Oh,
yes,
yes, yes.
yes.
Remember?
Yes, very much.
Remember those
This is
moments of
familiar.
being in front of each mirror? Maybe with your parents or maybe in the school trip, we all had an experience of getting into this mirror house, right? Seeing ourselves through it, various mirrors reflecting different us. Some mirrors reflected us very weirdly. Some reflections were crazy, some astonished you, and some made you laugh. Isn't it? Each of this
Yes,
mirror
yes.
reflected the different you. Same as with our life. The different circumstances, the different occasion, the different people, and the different phases of life. You see yourself into a different reflection. Isn't it? Some of these reflections are part of your identity. And some of them are reflected through the shades of glasses that people wear. So a person with the blue glass will be seeing you blue. The person with the yellow glass will be seeing you yellow. Isn't it? Different people with their different perception, their different opinion, their own baggage of life makes them see you very differently. Right? So their perceptions, their opinions about you showcased you differently at various walk of life, isn't it? So how do you feel when you see yourself in a real mirror? How do you see when you see yourself in a real mirror? You find that in this real mirror, you are being reflected, you are being portrayed as you are. The natural, authentic, the way you reflect is something that is much similar to yourself when it is a normal, ordinary mirror, isn't it? But this mirror, this real mirror, is also an illusion. It is ironical because in this mirror, you see the right is left and the left is right. And thus, this mirror also creates an illusion of the person you see through that mirror. So when you look into the mirror, you see different reflections, but they are not completely portraying you. All reflections are distorted. They are partial. They are not complete orientation of who you are. Who am I? Is a question which is posed in the mind of many people throughout their life. And throughout their life, they try to figure out who they are. Isn't it? So when you see yourself through this mirror, what do you look at? What do you look at when you see yourself in front of a mirror?
My body.
Have a pose, look into this mirror and understand yourself closely by observing yourself. What is being reflected in this mirror?
My body.
If you see the face, it is an object. It is an identity of your body. And that is the conscious awareness that we have about ourselves, isn't it? The conscious awareness of ourselves, when we see ourselves in the mirror, right? Our face is the first reflection. And that is the basic awareness that we all have about ourselves. How am I looking today? In terms of your looks, in terms of your appearance, which is more physical, which is more outer in terms of your persona, your personality. But when you look deeper, you identify the person behind this face. At times we refer this person as a soul. At times we refer this person as our inner personality, right? And this is the subconscious awareness that we all are striving to get to understand, that the person behind this particular face, who is he, isn't it? And in case if you go deeper to the context of understanding, who's the person behind this face and who's the person behind, what is behind this person then? The soul. And that's where the unconscious awareness of each of us gets unfolded. We rarely get into understanding ourselves into that deeper layer of ourselves, isn't it? So when you look through this mirror, what do you look at? What is your awareness about yourself? How much depth of awareness do you have? Consciousness is the foundation of life. And this consciousness is nothing but, in other terms, we refer this consciousness as our awareness, isn't it? So when we understand this consciousness is basically the foundation of our life, how much conscious are we to understand this foundation of our life? How much conscious are we in discovering who am I? How many times you have been to yourself asking this question to yourself? And most importantly, why do you need to know who am I? Why do you need to have this awareness of who am I? So why to have the self-awareness? What you will be doing when you will be aware of yourself? My dear friends, I would request each of you to take some time with yourself, with the cohort that we have here of amazing people, and get into the breakout room for next 10 minutes and try and identify why is it important to be self-aware. What will you be doing if you have this awareness that who you are? Does it make any difference in knowing who you are? So with this set of questions, I pause the slide here and I would request Rajendra sir to have the breakout room. I'm seeing we are 37 people here. So we can have a breakout room, 5 breakout rooms, accommodating people in there. So in 10 minutes, I want to have you to noting down why it is important to be self-aware, why you should be self-aware. Because if you discover this why, then the fundamental understanding of yourself will be much meaningful to you and to everyone who's here. So just after the breakout room, I would be requesting everyone to come up with 2 minutes of presentation in the interest of time. Please list up, the reasons for being self-aware and make your presentation a bit crisp and concise to bring up the gist of understanding why it is important to understand ourselves. Over to you, Rajendra sir, if we can have the breakout room.
One question before we go into the room.
Sorry?
Just one question before we go into the breakout room.
Yes.
When you're saying that we need to be we need to be aware. Why to be self-aware? Now, when you're talking about self-aware, which aspect of self-awareness are we talking? Or is it
so we are right now unfolding the first layer of our understanding to who am I, the first outer layer, because there are different layers to self-awareness. There are different levels to self-awareness.
Okay.
So whatever comes exactly to your mind, right? Don't be much judgmental in terms of figuring out, but try and put up your understanding in terms of why you need to be self-aware. It could be at the depth level, it can be at the shallow, the first layer, first level. So that I leave up to the audience, to the members, to the participants. But this is where I want you to identify the very first aspect of understanding why should I be self-aware.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Darshana.
Thank you so much. So see you after
Dr.
10
Darshana,
minutes.
4 or 5, how many you want? 4 are enough?
5.
5
Okay.
you want? Okay. Okay.
Okay, 4 or 5, I'm fine with that, right? But I
Okay.
will be giving only 2 minutes to make the presentation
Yeah.
of the
Okay. Okay.
points.
Okay. I will make 4 in that case. Let's see. Okay.
Dr.
So finally,
Darshana,
one is that.
it was very less time in breakout room. 2 minutes more we
Yeah.
wanted.
You
Can we go back
missummarized
to
like
the
person.
breakout room?
No, we cannot
Can we
go
go back?
again.
We will
Please,
go
please,
to the
please.
breakout room.
Please, 2 minutes more. 2 minutes more.
I can't
Interesting
send
question.
you in the same group, please.
Please, 2
Okay,
minutes
Okay,
more.
no,
Please.
it's okay.
there were
It's
5
just
rooms, right? 4 rooms.
Ma'am,
We were in the
Ma'am,
midway of
we want to
the.
be in the breakout rooms, but you do one thing, ma'am.
Yes.
Madhavisha, ma'am, you have time because first team usually starts or the 4th or 5th team start. I don't know which team you are. You be in that room and do something whatever you
I
want.
was in second.
You'll
Yeah,
be
I
having at
wanted
least
to.
2-3 minutes.
Rooms are closed, so
Madhavi,
we
you
will
can.
be
I
here
was
all
in the
together
team.
now.
What?
So let's see whatever it's
You
been
continue,
discovered.
ma'am.
And
Don't
in
worry,
case if you
Madhavi
have
ji.
any further points to be added on, Madhvi, you can add them. Okay. So let's go with room number 1. I guess we were having 4
Okay.
rooms, right, Mr. Sabre?
Yes,
Rajendra
4
sir?
rooms.
Yes.
4
Okay.
rooms.
So
4
let's
rooms.
start with room number 1.
Ma'am, I will share our room points, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Here, what happens? Really, we couldn't find the time. It's a very interesting topic. What is
Yes.
self-awareness is a very good topic. In fact, every one of our team has contributed, but still lot of points are pending. So whatever we have collected, just I am sharing it with you. Maybe if I had any problem in sharing, some of my teammates will keep in, ma'am.
Sure.
Okay, so you have asked
Please.
us 2 questions. Why first we have to be self-aware? And the points are like that. Just it is not in a story form. What Arun sir is telling, no, it is not like that. So it is
Okay.
here
I just
and there.
want the points for
So
now.
to make first, we have to understand what I know and what we don't know, or what a self knows. That is the most important thing. Because of that, what happens? You have always a better control of whatever you know, and because of that, what happens? You are taking a right decision. Because of that, what happens? You are being self-confident. So this is a cycle. It goes on like that. And as you said, no, in the mirror. I think somebody has to mute themselves. Okay. In the mirror, you were telling about soul. We are seeing the soul. We have not thought in that way, but you have been talking about it. In fact, one of my team members has been reflecting the same thing. The purpose of human life. That is the main thing of self-awareness. And to know the real personality or real identity of the self. As you said, we have to peel off like a layer by layer in the onion. So to keep proper alignment of hand, heart, and soul, to have a better creativity and innovative in nature. And by all these things, what happens? You are effective and you are more efficient. Effective means on the right side, on a right front, and efficiency means input by output. And always we should live in the present for being self-aware. And to understand, this is a very beautiful concept said by Nayak sir. To understand that I am not a human being with a spiritual experience, but a spiritual being having a human experience.
A human experience. I love that quote.
Yeah. So I'll go to the second question. What do you do when you're self-aware? Very simple. Everyone, like Sapraji said, we live happily because that is the base thing for everything. To achieve whatever we want, it can be goals or it can be targets, whatever it may be. The second point is as a journey as a human being with full joy. It's nothing but the happiness. So that's it from our side, ma'am.
I just wanted to
Thank
add
you so
one,
much. Room
ma'am,
number
if you
1.
just give me permission
Yes.
for 30 seconds. I just wanted to add whatever Bala sir has
Yes,
told.
please.
Please,
Only
sir, please, sir.
one thing only, that being a self-aware, what I feel is that self-aware life is all about choices. So when we are self-aware, we take decision consciously rather than taking decisions subconsciously, and we are making wrong decisions. So this is why self-awareness is very, very important. That's all. And rest he has covered. Rest he has covered very well, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Room number
Thank you.
1.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, room number 2, if we can have you.
Who is going? Vishal?
You want me to speak, Madhaviji?
We didn't decide who will go with it.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay,
Vishal, go ahead.
yeah.
I've sent
Basically,
him the message.
okay. In this discussion that we had two important aspects that we discussed because it was really a very interesting topic, but time constraint was there. So first thing I'd like to say is we thought upon the process of Johari window in this. We discussed on Johari window, wherein a person is known to himself and known to his friend. That is an open aspect. The person is not known to himself, and a person who is not neither known by any of them, that is unknown. So at that time what he or she thinks. So they're the four important aspects. And when I see or any person sees themselves in a mirror, they only see the face part or the facade of but the inner part is all combination of all this four. So this is one aspect to the so to the second question, like what you will do when you are self-aware. So in that it is just we couldn't discuss this in the room because of the constant time, but what came to my mind when room number 1 was speaking, we can correlate it with the Sigmund Freud's theory of ID, ego, and superego, wherein if I am self-aware, I can have good instinct of understanding good things or bad things. I can have the reality. I can understand the reality very well. At the same time, I will be more morality will be there into me, which will make me do some good things for self and the society. So that is what we from room number 2 can talk about on your two questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else in the room would like to add up to what Vishal has explained? Thank you, Vishal. Thank you so much.
Myself, Jagdish from same group.
Yes, sir.
There is one aspect, the role we play. Like in industry, I am an engineer. People will know me as engineer. I will also feel myself as engineer. In a house, I am husband to my wife, father to my children.
Okay, so that will be coming up again to that aspect, because
they will take it like
if you have understood, please don't disclose it here at this point of time.
Okay, thank you.
Right, so I will be giving that opportunity to you. That is the second activity we will be getting into. Okay, room number 3. Vishal, you reminded me of the OB sessions I used to take in the university. The Johari Window, the state of egos. Room number 3, if we can have your slide and your presentation. Thank you. So who is explaining this?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, good evening, Darshana madam. Savan here from the room number 3. And the other person are on the road and they're attending the session via the mobile phone.
Okay, so you are presenting the screen.
Yeah.
So who's explaining this? Are you explaining? So are you explaining this?
Yeah,
Somebody else is
going to explore.
okay.
No, I'm just going to explore.
Sure. Please go ahead.
The first question is why you have to be self-aware. So these are the points which we have listed, that it gives the power for influencing the outcome. It will make you better for the taking the decision, and it make also self-confidence. And you have to think on the start thinking on the multiple perspective for yourself, and build up the better relationship when you know about where you are good, where you are not good, and also start regulating your own emotions, and your stress level is also going to be decreased, that you can find out the points from yourself itself. So these are the points which are the benefited for us, why you have to be the self-aware. And when we just come to know that what do you do when you are the self-aware. So when we just prepare about the self-aware, we can plan our goals, activities, priorities, and start practicing the meditation and other mindful habits for daily practicing about looking about the change in our life, and ask and able to think about the feedbacks, and we can also work on that. About the
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your inputs. I know that was a small room and then people gathered up in the room. So you can understand the constraint that you would have missed in terms of the first 2-3 minutes, because I was there in that room.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
it's okay. Thank you.
Room
Thank you.
number 4.
Room number 4. Yes. In room number 4, yes, we have discussed about these your questions. When we are self-aware, we have a clear picture of ourselves, we can understand our shortcomings.
Can you just unshare the screen, Mr. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We can
Yes, Mr.
understand.
Mathur.
Yes, we can understand our shortcomings, our weakness, and our strength, and how to meet out with our weak points through our strength. That is, if we are aware, we can do this thing, and then we can utilize our resources better. If we are having our knowledge, we can design our life better. Or we, on a spiritual point of view, when we know ourselves, we look in the like mirror into others also in the same way. So our ego, jealousy, greed, these are the shortcomings are removed. And then ourselves in better position to understand other people also. So we pay to Almighty gratitude in gratitude way, and then living in present moment. If we know ourselves, we live in present moment so that we can understand and the situation and respond accordingly. This is and we live quality of life. Then better we don't go in a emotional way or in other way personal. So our personal growth will also improve. This we have, our group has found.
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very good.
Great inputs
Thank you.
from all the rooms. Thank you so much for being there, participating. And you know what? This exercise was not actually meant to be debriefed again, because it was more taken up with the orientation that you understand then why it is important to be self-aware. Right? So until and unless, we don't find something to be important, we don't align to it. Isn't it? So this exercise was more to bring out from you that why you should be self-aware and what you will be doing when you will be self-aware. Right? So the mirror was posed, and the 3 reflections of the mirrors which were posed to you was again a part of the layers. If you're seeing the face, it is the conscious awareness. If you're seeing the soul, it is the subconscious awareness. And if you're seeing the purpose behind the soul, why are you into this life? How did you enter into this life? The cycle of birth and death, right? So, in that utmost level of spirituality, right, we generally ask this question, who am I? And that is what we discover, level by level. Every level has a different layer. And this is a huge subject, and this is basically part of my 30 hours program. But I'm just bringing a 3 hours here because I feel that, this is something which was never taught to us. We never realized that we have to be aware of ourselves. And what if we would have learned who am I much earlier in our life? So as somebody said, I'm not noted down the rooms, please. So I beg your pardon for that we can plan our life very differently. Right? We can have the understanding of our resources, our powers in terms of our persona, right? So our thoughts are our powers, our emotions are our powers, but we are never, we never get into understanding those things because the consciousness to know yourself was never ever brought in forward for us to think and introspect that why it is important to be self-aware. And what is self-awareness? At times, we even ask this question, what is self-awareness? And in terms of relationship, we establish, like these days, people are into networking, they go out, they meet people, they're part of this committee, this association, that organization. They all want to build up relationship. And you know what? At the end, at the base, we forget to build the relationship with the most important person in our life, and that is ourselves. Because we never know why it is important to be knowing ourselves, right? Why it is important to be friend to yourself. My father has always said this, since I was a child till I am now, right? He always say, become your best friend, be a friend to yourself. And I never got to understand that. And this eventually got unfolded just before few years. And that is why, I pass on this and I talk about more of this, because it's very important to be aware. And it's very important to understand why we have to be aware. So as it is said, we can plan our life in a different way. We can understand our strength and we can understand our weaknesses. All these years, SWOT has been very important. You get into the college, first year of the college, people will be asking you SWOT. You get into the job interview, people will be asking you SWOT. And every time, while giving this SWOT, we feel, weaknesses are most important to be focused. And you know what? We lose the beauty, the charm of understanding our strength. And so we always underrate our strength. And that is why self-awareness is very, very important. You understand that perspective of seeing at your strength to overcome your weaknesses. And that is what we will be unfolding ahead. Gratitude. Who you are. The moment you realize the immense bliss that is there, that is operating you. You understand the quality of your life. You understand the purpose of your life. So thank you everyone for contributing your time and getting into this, diving into this, that it is important to understand who am I, right? So there are different masks that we carry in our life, right? A different place, we have a different mask and we always hide behind the mask. And at times, being perfectly appearing in the professional sphere, in the social sphere, in the pure family, we forget to understand, we forget to remove this makeup and actually see through it. Who am I? Why am I? What is making me? We rarely get into that depth of ourselves. And this is what I'm trying to unfold today. So who am I is where the self-awareness lies. So if I ask you all to use the chat box, please don't unmute yourself, because in the interest of time, right, I don't want to get into the discussion at this point of time. So you can use the chat box and you can let me know how you can understand who am I. How you can understand who am I. Yeah, you can use the chat box, please. How can I understand who am I?
Yeah, by meditation.
By understanding what is real and what is illusion.
Okay. Self-talk, very nice, Vishal. Self-reflection, very nice. Right? Self-analysis, happiness. Happiness can tell you the best part of your present state. Definitely. Meditation, yes. We can never underrate the power of meditation. Role play, yes. At different roles, you appear different in your life. Right? But still, some points which I'm looking at, feedback, very important. Yes, definitely. Exhibiting your identity, but understanding your identity. How do you understand your identity? Right? Your performances, yes. Right? Just to simplify, right? As I said, I'm just at the first layer. Okay, we are just peeling off the first. We are not getting into that depth because that depth is very, very deep. Right? So just bringing some easy context. Some easy context. You understand yourself by understanding your inner personality. Okay, you understand yourself by understanding your inner personality. So who are you? You are nothing but part and parcel of your values, your attitude, your belief. And what has shaped that? Please mute yourself. Who's it? Everyone, please mute yourself.
Lakshmi, please mute.
Sorry.
Right, so understanding yourself through your values, through your attitude, through your belief is important. And what is the foundation base of that? Again, right, we will be unfolding it, but it is never taught to us. Next comes the interest. And that is what we are losing in everything, be it in our life, be it in our relations, be it at our workplace, our interest. But I'm taking interest as a very, very, easy context of interest in terms of your hobbies and your interest. The knowledge that you have, your knowledge makes you who you are. So what is, the abundance of knowledge that you have? What are your skills? What are your competencies? In totality, all these things somewhere helps you to define yourself at the first two layer. I'm not getting into it much deeper because we will be going through it later, someday later, not today, right? So the first layer of your awareness, and this is something that you can consciously check and you can identify, right? So it's much better than SWOT. But if you're finding it complicated, let us have some activity here. So ready for the activity time? Please hold a pen and a book with yourself. And in case if you don't have either of them, you can use the chat box. So are we ready for the activity of understanding who am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Very
Right,
much.
so I will be posting some simple words, and you have to write the following words. Okay. So I will be posting two words at a time, and you will be continuing, right? You will be posting 10 words after that. Okay. So I'm putting the first two words, and you're putting the next 5 or 10 words, at least 5. Right? At least 5. I want at least 5 from each of you. You can put in the chat box. You can write it down in your book. See, I always hold the book and I'm noting down your points. So, right, you can put it in your book and then we can have the discussion. You can put in the chat box so that I can get some reference of what the people are writing and what is the answer for that, because that will be the part of our discussion. Okay. So 1 minute for each 2 words that I'm posting. Okay. 1 minute for each 2 words that I'm posting. So here we go. And the first 2 words which I'm posting right now is I am. You have to write 5 words following that. Okay. I am dash, 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 dash. 10 words, 1 minute. Please write it all together, Nagi sir. Unstoppable, comma, XYZ, comma, ABCD, comma, CDE, comma, right? All 10 to come together so that I can have the reference of what Nagi sir has posted, right? What Mahesh ji has posted, right? 10 words, 5 words, at least 5 words. You know, if you feel, I always give less time. So in case if you feel I'm giving less time, 5 words at least. Quickly. I am dreamer, action taker. Okay, I have to expand my chat. Okay, dreamer, action taker, speaker, helper. And if you have posted here in the chat box, please write it down in the pen and paper for your reference, because we will be getting through it later, right? And you can have the reference if it is written with you in your book or in the letter pad, whatever you have. Okay. So I'm a dreamer, action takers.
We have written.
Okay, so the next, I hope everybody has done the first 5 words at least. Okay, 5 words at least. Words. I don't want statements. 5 words, like the way it is coming, you know, unstoppable, passionate, honest. No statements. I don't want any statements. Words, only words. Helping, peaceful, loving, traditional, whatever. Words, only words. And continue doing this, only words, no statements. I don't want any sentences. Okay, so next, I hope I'm done, right? I am is done for everyone. Okay, right. So the next, I can. 5 words, right? 1 minute. 5 words, 1 minute. At least 5. Huh? If you can write 10, I will be giving you a big salute for that. I can. Quickly. I can. And if you're posting it, just put I can and then post the words. I can.
We have written already. We have already written.
Okay. Okay, so should I go with the next?
Yes.
Okay. I enjoy. 5 words. I enjoy. 5 words. Please write I enjoy so that, you know, when I get back to the chat, I can have the reference. I enjoy. So we need a training, coaching, confident builder is I enjoy or I can.
I enjoy.
I enjoy spending time with nature. Okay, Indrajitu sir. Reading books, moving with friends. Okay. Okay. I am. Okay. Okay. Next, I believe that.
Pardon?
I believe that. First 10 words.
Only one word.
One word, only word. I believe that. Or here you can use 2 or 3 words, you know, a small phrase, but not statements.
I believe
Because
that.
maybe it will be a
I
bit
believe
complicated
that.
to
I
write
believe-
only one word and, you know, making it sensible to others. So I believe nothing is impossible. Okay. So I believe that COVID will disappear. Very nice. Very good to, you know, read this. It's a delight. We all are praying for that. Nothing is real. Okay.
I believe.
Okay, so I guess I believe that 5 things, right? 5 things. See to it that you're writing 5 and 10 things, because at the end of the task, I will be evaluating how much have you written in each. Did you find out the best 5 words, best 10 words, or you were not able to figure out the 5 or 10 words? Or it was difficult, it was time taking. Okay. Next and the last, I am learning. I am learning. I am learning. I am learning. 1 minute. I am learning. Okay, history, chemistry, ecosystem, best version, human psychology. Okay. So I hope we are done with all. I am, I can, I believe. I am learning, right? I hope we are done with this.
Okay.
Have you ever done this exercise earlier ahead in your life? Just put yes or no in the chat box.
No.
Have you ever done this activity ever earlier ahead in your life?
Never.
Okay, so I'm getting more of no. Okay, now I am asking, did you like this activity?
Yes.
Did you like this activity? Did you enjoy figuring out yourself just in 1 minute? Right? So the context here is somebody have written, I am a dancer, a singer, a father, a professor. I'm honest, right? I am peaceful. I'm joyful. I'm happy. Isn't it? Everyone has written, I am in 3 contexts. The first context, which I could see in the chat flowing in the way, is more in terms of the quality orientation. You know, that is a describing word of you, defining you in terms of the quality or virtue aspect of you. Okay, so if you say, I am honest, that is the virtue that you have, that is the quality that you have. I'm helpful, that is the trait, right? Somebody said, I'm a father, I'm a professor, right? So whenever I am, we define, you know, and when we have the clarity of defining ourselves, and when we exceed the 10 words in 1 minute, that shows the level of consciousness that we have for ourselves. People who found it very difficult, you know, they were like, in 1 minute, should I write? Should I think? What should I do? They have not met themselves since a pretty long period of time. So, खुद से कभी कभी मिला करो, खुद को कभी कभी जाना करो, it will help you, right? And you will enjoy that company. So the context is, I am. The most quickest approach to answer is reflecting. What do you focus on? People who have wrote in terms of values, in terms of virtues, in terms of quality, somewhere the focus is there. You want to become that. You want to be reflected as that. You want to be reflected as somebody who's very honest, somebody who's very happy, something who is very helping. People who have written father, professor, you want to get yourself reflected as a father, as a coach, as a mentor, as a trainer. And that is an important aspect of your being at this moment. Okay. And people who have reflected this in a way, I'm happy, right? I am peaceful. Nobody wrote that I'm lucky. Nobody wrote that I'm blissful. Or nobody wrote that I'm blessed. I'm grateful. So that is what are the moments which is reflecting more of, more of the inner consciousness. When you say I'm blessed, that means that you are having that time with yourself, and this is what is coming out of you. People who wrote I can, what does I can prove? What does I can prove here? When you say I
Everything,
can,
ma'am.
sorry?
No, ma'am, continue. Sorry.
Okay.
Continue, ma'am.
I can, what does it reflect?
Confidence, I think.
I'm not getting your words. If you can please put in the chat.
Confidence, self-confidence.
Self-belief.
Okay, self-belief, confidence. And where does that confidence come from? So confidently, I'm presenting this particular program in front of you. What is bringing this confidence? I can, be a trainer. I can be a coach. What is the confidence? What is the base of this confidence? It is based on my skill set. It is based on my knowledge. It is based on my competencies. Right. So whatever I can is basically matching my skills. Definitely. Yes, Mr. Sawan. It is matching my skills. What I can do is something that comes when I say I can. And I enjoy. I enjoy reflects what I really love to do. I enjoy rain. I enjoy nature. I enjoy music. So these are your hobbies and your interest. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy singing. Right? So these are your hobbies, your interest, which is giving you that feel of enjoyment. This is the joy that you have. And it's very important to again know this, that what do you enjoy? Because what do you enjoy if it is matching to what I am? Say, for example, if I say I enjoy singing, okay, yes, it is passion. Definitely, Mr. Vineet, it is the passion. If I say I enjoy singing, and if I say I can sing, now, what is the difference? If I say I enjoy singing, I may be a bathroom singer. Okay, I can sing, means I have a bit of the competency. But when I say I am a singer, see what difference it brings. Right? So it transmits your passion into your being. I am a singer, which is more strong as compared to, I can sing or I enjoy singing. When it is transmitted to that level. And that is the reason, rather than SWOT, I use this technique of understanding our strength, understanding our likings, understanding our qualities. I believe that. How many of you found it very difficult to, identify the 5 things quickly in a 1 minute? That what do you believe in? I didn't saw as much as answers as I had seen in the first 3. How many of you found it difficult to identify what you believe in? If it is you, please put me in the chat box. Or in case if you want, you can just raise your virtual hand so that I can count on the people. How many of you found it difficult, to understand what do you believe in? You didn't got the immediate 5 words there. You didn't got the immediate 5 words there.
Narendra.
Yes. Right. So that is where we have not checked on our values. We have not checked on our beliefs. We have not checked on our thought processes. And so it becomes difficult to identify what do you believe in. And when I say I believe that nothing is impossible, that is the strong thought and strong foundation of thoughts that I have in me. So there is a consciousness of knowing what I'm thinking, knowing what I'm believing. Right? So I believe that it boosts a different power in you. If you believe everything is possible, you will never be a failure in your life. You will never give up on anything in your life. If you believe the world is peaceful, you will never get engaged into, any violence in your life because it is peaceful. right? So what you believe in is very important, because that is the strong aspect of your being. That is a strong aspect which is shaping an entire thing in your life. Everything which is happening outside in the world, it was written somewhere in the chat also. Everything what is happening outside the world is something which is much aligned to your beliefs. If you believe the world is a bad place, dangerous place to live, you will see those kind of situations and things happening. Right? If you believe I'm not good for, if you believe I'm not worthy, if you believe that, I just belong to a small town, I don't know what I will be doing in my life, you will be doing nothing in your life, because that is the belief that you have. And irrespective of your belief, irrespective of the place where you are, if you believe that, this is a small world, I can be here, I can be in the XYZ country, I can be so and so, I can be a RBI governor, I can be a prime. If you believe it, you will be able to unfold it. That is the power. That is the power. Okay. So it's not, I can or I enjoy. Your belief will help you to become I am. Okay. I am learning. Right. Majority of the time, though we all are much fortunate that we are still learning and we are still here together, traveling in this particular journey of, becoming the best trainer in terms of our deliveries and all. Right. So what am I learning? Because whatever I'm learning is adding to what I can. So if I'm learning to be the world-class trainer, I will be saying someday I am a world-class trainer. I can deliver the training sessions. Right? If I'm learning to play music, and then, I will be able to say, I can play music, I can sing, right? So whatever you learn, you become. Whatever you learn, you become. So that is some very normal context to understanding who you are. Every point of time, please get back to these 5 things. Every month have this activity. Every quarterly have this activity. A taste every year, 31st December. Make sure that you do this. Answer these questions. I am, I can, 5 words, 10 words. Let it go to 20, 50, 100 words. Right? And the day it goes, please get back to me. Okay, so.
Ma'am,
So,
shall I say
values.
what? Ma'am?
Sorry?
Actually,
Yes.
I did the same practice, ma'am. Before 6 years ago, when I finished my NLP, I did the same affirmation. I am an international trainer. After 6 years, now I am in the international platform, in Arunji's platform. How wonderful. Really, it happens in my life, ma'am. Thank you.
We will be talking about such experience at the end of this session. So, right? Great, Kanika ma'am, you could discover what I am and what I can. Right? So as I said, your values, right, are basically the foundation of who you are. Your beliefs makes you what you are. Right? So beliefs is nothing but the set of accumulated values. Right? All these values. So we say belief system. Right? We don't say belief. It is a belief system. It is based on a strong foundation of interrelated, connected values, which comes from our thoughts and emotions. Right? So someday we will be even getting into that understanding of how thoughts and values can form your values. Interest, as I said, whatever I can and whatever I enjoy becomes the part of my identity. The more I focus on my interest, the more I focus on, what I enjoy doing, and then you do it without any stress, with less efforts, you will be able to attain the things in your life. Your skills and knowledge, right? So anything that interests you will help you to gain more knowledge, isn't it? Anything that interests us is something which helps us to get more deeper into it. So if I understand or I like music, I will get more deeper in understanding music. If I like, psychology, if I like, astrology, my interest will help me to dive deep into getting more knowledge, information. And the moment I get the knowledge, I will be adding it on my skills. Right? It will become my skills, it will become my abilities, it will become my competency. And this is where I will be growing, from where I am to something that I am willing to be. Okay. My personality is basically aspect of all these components. I'm We rarely focus on developing or enhancing our inner personality. We are more in terms of outer personality. Everywhere, you see around, it's all most about, external grooming, makeover. Nobody understands that the beauty of makeover is when it happens within. Abdul Kalam ji, Sudha Murthy, Ratan Tata, Swami Vivekanand, all this personality has been through themselves and they have identified the beautiful aspects of their being, right? So inner personality is something which is most underrated again, much ignored, and right, nobody ever thought that this is most important to be focused on. Today we have, programs in terms of education, in terms of character building and this and that, right? But somewhere there is a missing link. Okay, so next is the desire and aspiration. What I want to be, what I can be. This is what I want to be. Again, it creates a different set of reality about yourself. So what is important, right? Knowing these things are very important, but continuously assessing your values, your interests, your knowledge, your competency is something which is most important, and you have to have that time with yourself. Nobody is going to do that for you, right? Nobody is going to do that for you. You have to do it for yourself, because by doing it, you will be exploring yourself to, to every aspect of your being. You will be exploring yourself through each of these dimensions and even more deeper dimensions. And the more you explore, the more you understand yourself. The more you understand yourself, the more you understand what are your strengths, what are your powers, what are your resources. And with this, you will be able to plan. You will be able to plan your life. You will be able to plan each moment of your life, because you are now in the present understanding of who you are, right? So planning for every moment for your life, for personal, professional, social, everything that is about you, you will not be, a part and parcel of it. You will be leading your life in the way you want to lead it. Your actions will be aligned to that aspect of discovering or being what you want to be, right? And this sections will help you to gain the experiences, better experiences, with changing values, with changing experiences, right? By changing your interest, again, the experiences are changing. So everything, when the value changes, when the knowledge changes, right, your entire behavior, attitude, and approach towards life will be different. And so you will be experiencing things different. And this is where you will become the maker of your destiny. You will no more be, somebody who is into, let's see how life comes, getting to this place, getting to that place, knowing what is written in your palm, in your destiny. You will become a maker of your destiny, because you're continuously knowing, checking, and evolving yourself, right? So generally we put our life into the stars, let's discover the stars. Let's see what the stars have to say. It's a high time to realize that you are the star. You are the star. You are the maker of your life. What does this image reflect? What does this image reflect?
It is evolution, some kind of iterative and evolution.
There is no end.
Looks like a shell to me.
It is a
seashell.
It is a tide.
Right?
It is a
It is a
seashell.
colorful rainbow. Just remember, yes, it is definitely a shell. It is something which is oriented towards the inner circle. If you see the outer layers, right, when it is getting inside, it is coming up.
Some type of turbulence.
Yes.
Turbulence.
No, it is not turbulence. We can sense this as a turbulence. Definitely, when we don't discover ourselves, our life becomes a turbulence for ourselves and for others. Right? But basically, this is an approach of seeing ourselves within. When we talk about life, when we talk about self-awareness, and when we get higher to know ourselves, right, we are able to turn inward. Everything external.
Suresh sir, please mute. Suresh sir, please mute. Suresh. Please
Mr. Suresh,
mute.
please mute yourself. Right. So when your self-awareness is high, you're able to turn inward, because turning inward also needs a lot of strength. So you need to realize your strength to go back to yourself. How many of you literally enjoy being with yourself? How many of you literally enjoy being with yourself? I'm saying with yourself, huh? Not with your mobile phone.
Me.
Right? Me and my mobile, everybody enjoys that. No mobile phone, being with yourself. And you know what? For many, this is very suffocating. They are like, they fear the most being in their own company, being in their own company of their thoughts. Right? So you have to understand yourself. And the more you understand yourself, you get into the understanding of yourself, because you're turning inward. And that is where you pull out all your strength. You know, pearls are found deep down in the ocean. Right? So turning inward helps you to understand. So meditation, prayers, rituals, all this we do is for getting inward, for getting ourselves inward. And even when we talk about leadership, you know, the basic or the biggest challenge to leadership is when people are low in terms of their self-awareness, they hesitate to lead. They hesitate to put forward their thoughts, to guide, you know, to bring up their skills, their competencies, their knowledge, because there is always a self-doubt. So low self-awareness definitely gives you doubts, low confidence, but together with that, it never allows you to take up the opportunities in your life. Right? So again, a small activity which I would like you all to have. And again, this is just for 10 minutes, huh? Just for 10 minutes. Immediately you're getting into the breakout room and you're identifying, why have you not been aware of yourself? What has been stopping you to be self-aware? What has been stopping you to be self-aware? So breakout room again, if we can have Sabri sir, and 10 minutes. And this time you will be presenting only for 1 minute, because I have to sum up this once you come back.
Let's try to keep the same breakout rooms if possible. Let me check.
Okay. Right. So please be very clear about the question.
Yes.
Very precise, very concise.
What is the question?
What are the barriers to self-awareness? Just the points, okay? So here it is, okay. Right, please get into the breakout room and please join the respective rooms. Thank you so much. See you in next 10 minutes. Please, participants, join your respective room. 10 minutes, I'm seeing you again. Thank you so much. So finally, back.
क्या बात है?
So 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, yes.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Room number 1.
4, 4. Begin with 4.
4, 3, 2, 1. So let's have room number 4 first.
चलो माथुर
Let's
साहब
reverse the
हमारा
order.
4 है ना?
Oh, yes,
माथुर
sir.
जी
4 है sir, 4 है.
हमारा
What-
4 है. बोलिए
Yeah.
बोलिए.
चलो 2 minute में you have to sum up, please.
Okay, ma'am. 2 minutes. Our group has decided about your question. What are the barriers of self-awareness? Self-awareness, we are first of all, our mindset. Our mindset is the first barrier, and our fear. Then our greed, desire, jealousy, anger. These are the barriers. And then our lack of wisdom are the barrier, and the living in denial mode. And there, as we are enjoying in a lesser goal, as our announcer says this, we kept our lesser goal and we enjoying that. And then the subconscious, we cannot listen subconscious, we can always do by conscious. That is all the barrier. Impatient, and we want to enjoy whatever we want. And the FOMO, fear out, missing out, and then LKK log kya kahenge. This was the and we compare and contrast, and our confidence. Sometimes our confidence is loser, and then no time for me time. That is for me. We are not time, and we full day we are enjoying, but we are not having time for us. That
Very
is
good.
those are reasons.
I'm too busy to meet myself.
Very good.
I'm
Very
too
good.
busy to meet myself. I need to book an appointment for myself.
These points our group has discussed, Nitika ji and Arun.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful
Thank you.
inputs. Thank you so much. Group
Thank you.
3.
Are we group 3, please?
Self-awareness. Are we group 3?
Yeah,
This
madam,
is
you
the
can
biggest
just
barrier.
share your screen and just detail.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I wasn't too sure whether it was this or that. Yeah, I have a, sorry, not this.
It's okay, please. Go ahead.
Just a minute, ma'am. Where is, yeah. Ma'am, this is the feedback we have accumulated from room 3. What are the barriers? First thing is when you have no time for introspection, self-questioning, when you do not want to upgrade your skills, and you always want to hold on to your own belief system and not at all present in the current situation. This is one set of feedback which from one of our team members. Then another team member says, it's the fear facing the reality, because that's the biggest challenge. Why? Because the change of belief is something not many can handle without self-awareness. Now, there's another team member who's mentioned unreasonable biases. That is the illiteracy part, which, it makes them slaves to their own ignorance. The memory is not reliable because they do not remember what they speak, where, when, how. And there's also a state of helplessness, right? Nobody there for me to help. And this paves way to the reacting in a very neutral way to people's reactions around them. Because generally as social beings, as human beings, we tend to first think, what will the world say? But what will the society say? So such people are ignorant when they are not self-aware. Now, another team member has added saying, the failure to take responsibility, being accountable, not being open to receiving feedbacks, these are also barriers to self-awareness. Now, one more fact is ignorance of the fact of self, leaving aside the awareness. That's also one of the major pointers, which is a barrier to self-awareness. Coming out of the comfort zone, not many are willing. That also becomes a barrier. And there's too much of confusion in the mind because there's no guidance for them. And the complexities of thought process, I think that also becomes a distorted reality for them. Hence, the self-awareness barriers make them stand apart from the normal crowd. And my feedback is the lack of confidence. I think that is also one of the major pointers where it stops them from believing themselves. This is from room 3, from all my team members. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful inputs. Thank you so much. Thank you. Room number 2.
Very good, Sujata ma'am. Very good.
Myself, Jagdish.
Yes, sir.
Actually, our group also discussed in the same line with the other team also. Is basically non-clarity of the system of self-assessment. It is not clear. People are not so, it's easy to introspect ourselves so easily. And there is one point, we have the self-doubt also regarding our assessment or judgment or decision. That also hinders our self-awareness assessment. Preoccupied with job, we are not finding any purpose or time to assess ourselves. Lack of concentration, even ability also, low moral, low confidence, keep changing our thought. If you have decided to do something for the self-awareness, who I am, then suddenly perspective is changed and we go to different direction. It's always changing. That can be avoided by meditation or concentration building. And self-evaluation also, it is very important. And another point, our team found out that like industry, we can do the SWOT analysis for the person ourselves. That may help to build self-awareness. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for all your inputs. Thank you so much. Room number 1.
Ma'am, I am sharing my screen. Nayak sir will do his work. Able to
Okay.
see my screen now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Nayak sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We as a team, we discussed and everybody participated and came out with this 13 points. So first one is ego. Ego stops us from going and finding our own self. Ignorance, overconfidence, lack of knowledge of self-introspection, trapped in our belief. We are trapped in our own belief, entangled in routine duties. Means our focus is not on self-awareness. That is the thing. Lack of empathy and busy in pleasing others. So we are busy in the egoistic world where we want to please others. Self-doubt. We ourselves have a lot of self-doubt, but we don't have time to introspect and find out. Want to manage others rather than managing us. It is again the same point. Too much involvement in unproductive work. More than unproductive work, our attention is diversified with other problems. Lack of keenness on what we do. I can say lack of keenness to know about ourselves. Keep changing goals when results are not coming. Look for something I don't understand, then I give up and say, okay, it is like this. Lack of knowledge of our own emotions, strengths and weaknesses. That is again not aware of our own reality. On totally what I can sum up is, I believe that what I see in the mirror is the reality. That is the problem.
Okay, and that is why I clarified in the beginning, it is ironic to what you are.
Yes.
Because you don't have the art of seeing through the mirror.
Yes. And I believe that's why self-awareness is very difficult. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So great inputs. So I will be briefing my part because I have got much. I mean, you have gained much to really understand that, what is the missing connect. Why aren't we, aligned to understanding the barriers? And if we don't understand the barriers itself, it's very difficult, to overcome any barriers. So something that you want to move, first you have to know what is it, so as the inputs came, like, low confidence, self-doubt, right? Don't know from where to start. At times you don't get the answer. At times you're not that interested in yourself. At times you're not much interested in yourself that you will take out that time and you will meet yourself and you will sit with yourself, right? So why to sit with ourselves? We have to live our life always with others. Why to sit with ourselves? So these are the things which is always going to stop you. And in case if you get much into yourself, you start thinking in that creative way, you start deep diving in yourself, right? घर पे सब बोलेंगे संन्यास नहीं लेना है, right? खुद को जान के क्या करना है, हम तुम ये जानते हैं, आप खुद को जान के क्या करोगे, right? So somewhere लोग क्या कहेंगे in different contexts. This was just the humorous way of letting it go, but at times it's very, very difficult. When you start knowing yourself and when people start interpreting you, judging you in that space where it was very difficult for you to get into, right? It was very difficult. It's very difficult to get within. It's very difficult to get out. I mean, get out to others, knowing others, my friend, my spouse, my boss, my colleague, right? College days, we all remember how much interested we were in knowing others. And somewhere in those foundation years of our life, we failed to know ourselves. Something did not happen in our life because of the barriers, which we never realized that they were the barriers. right? So lack of understanding, ignorance, all these points, right? All to sum up. And again, the mindset that you said, right? So mindset again comes from the strong foundation of emotions and thoughts. So what is mindset? I define mindset as the thoughts, the emotions, and the passion. When all three of them, come together, they become the mindset, and which becomes a strong foundation of your life. Right? Feedback. We fear to get the feedback. अगर उन्होंने बोल दिया कि you're not good, oh my God, I'm not good. I will be confirming what they said rather than, questioning, or rather than discovering that what it is, right? So we fail to seek feedback. So even I wanted to touch upon this when we were discussing this Johari window, when Vishal had put that, so knowing ourselves, the known self to us, unknown self to us, something which is not known to me, but it is known to somebody else. Like, when we were kid, our parents knew, Abhi, he is angry because he's hungry. So angry, hungry. They understood, but I didn't understood that I was hungry, so I was angry. So at times somebody else know you and you don't know yourself. That is most dangerous thing, when your remote control is in the hand of others. I mean, the fear control is in the hand of others. So it's very important to know yourself, to understand yourself, and discover the unknown to you and unknown to others, and bring out the best to others, making it the open self so that it does not create confusion for others. So my points in terms of the self awareness barriers, right? As many of you said, we are not that mindful, right? So the first context to self awareness is we are not that mindful of how do I think about myself, right? What do I think about myself? How much should I know myself? No time for ourselves. And that is the biggest barrier. Apart from all, I rate this as the foremost important barrier, that we have to be mindful. And again, we didn't knew how to be mindful for many, many years in our life, isn't it? Right? So that is the first, foremost, the biggest barrier which I feel which is to be eliminated. And the second one, right, we have talked a lot about cognitive biases, and we understand what it is, so I'm not going to dive deep into it. But again, there are various forms of this cognitive biases. So in simple context, if you want to define cognitive biases, they are basically systematic errors. They are basically the systematic errors in the thinking that occurs when people are processing the information, the information, the experiences, right? Whatever they are processing within, whatever they are interpreting it about the world, about the people, about the situation, becomes part of their being. And with that frame, I said in the beginning, the person with blue glass will always see things blue. Person with yellow glass, it's not just about perception. These perceptions are framed based on these biases, right? So the decisions, the judgments, all that we make in our life, right? Somebody said, that you make good decisions when you're self-aware. We are not able to make that because our decisions are governed by these cognitive biases, right? So cognitive biases, again, very important. Unwillingness to seek feedback, right? As it has rightly came from almost all the room, that it's lack of, orientation to get to know ourselves. At times we are not doing it because we don't know how to do it for ourselves. And majority of the time, we are reluctant to have the feedback from others. Why? Because the fear, right? It will add on more to your weakness. It will highlight your mistakes, and you don't want to do that. So you don't take the feedback, you don't seek the feedback, and that is where you stop getting to know yourself, right? The role of mentors, the role of coaches, the role of life coaches, right? As it was, even defined in my profile, why am I, or why are the other coaches getting so much of things to do with the clients? Because they are now willing to get the feedback. But again, you don't want to open up about that you are taking the feedback, right? So again, first orientation towards feedback, you don't know you should be doing that. right? Then the fear will be stopping you. And then, after getting the feedback, again, how to use this feedback, how to go ahead with this, that also demands strength. And this strength is something which we are not realizing that we have that strength through which we can overcome this, right? If we can identify something negative in us, we can overcome that. And next is remembering self and experiencing self. Right. So when I talk about feedback, the remembering self comes. Somebody gave a feedback about me, which I still remember. Anybody of you is aware about what is the difference between these two? The remembering self and the experiencing self, which is important, which comes first? You can unmute and you can say.
Remembering self.
Time your ideas. What is remembering self and what is experiencing self? If you don't know, please say, put no in the chat box so that I can give you that detailed understanding of that. What is remembering self and what is experiencing self? Okay. So when I say remembering self and experiencing self, simplest way to define the experiencing self is experiencing self. All that you experience is what? If I just make this simple, all that you experience is what? Right? No, let it be the past experience. But what is this experience? What is this experience? Experiencing is,
Feelings, feelings.
Okay, experiences or experiencing is more about the emotional state of your being in that particular moment. Whenever we say experiencing self, whenever we talk about experiencing, that is about the present moment. Okay, so experiencing self is very fast. I said you something, I abused you, I made you feel very good. Everything you will start experiencing at the very moment. I made you feel that. Okay, so the present moment is the experiencing self. And what emotions you are able to enhance in this present moment is the experiencing self. So at times we say that experiencing self is the intuitive self. It is the emotional self. It is the subconscious self. It is the unconscious self also. And it is very, very fast. It is very, very fast, right? If I say something negative to you, you will immediately feel it. If I say something positive to you, you will immediately feel it. So it has a lot to do with the emotions. And what have you experienced, right? As Vineet Kumar has written, past experience, as Nitika has written, journey. So what has it been, throughout your life is something that you remember. And what do you remember? You remember the things much clearer, much up to the, date when it had stronger emotions attached to those incidents, to those people, to those occasions. Okay, so any occasion, any event, anything that happened in your life and you emotionally felt it a lot, that is where the remembering self will come. So remembering self is, you go back to yourself. It is a bit slow and it is very, very rational. So experience self is, you're just happy at this moment. And when you talk about the remembering self, it is like, you are telling the story of yourself, some incident of past, your life, So generally in self-awareness, I also make people write. I also make people write a small story that defines you in 6 words. So in case if you would like to do that, please do that, right? Post session, you can share it with me. Define your life as a story just in 6 words. And then we can discuss, what your story shows about you, right? So experiencing self, remembering self. So what we experience is what we remember. And at times we experience something negative and we remember that negative, and that becomes part of our personal identity. We have positive experiences, we remember that, we grow up, right? So that is how, understanding these terms again, experiencing it, remembering it. So what do you remember majority of the time? If you remember bad things about yourself, bad incidents about yourself, the self-awareness, the self will become driven to that limited definition. But if you remember the positive experiences, the positivity, right, will optimize you to discover the better version of yourself, confident version of yourself, right, which is not having any self-doubt, which is very positive, growing, taking the steps ahead. And the last one is confirmation biases. I hope majority of you will be very clear about confirmation biases, something that we believe and we confirm. Like say, for example, if I just put it in this way, left-handed people, like every time we have heard this, left-handed people are very creative. Okay. Left-handed people are very creative. When we put these two things together, and every time when we find the left-handed people being creative, what happens? We confirm, yes, they are creative, right? So it could be a positive confirmation. It could be based on, but it is always based on your own beliefs. So that is why, I touched upon the belief. Beliefs are very important. The way you believe, you will be confirming everything in your life in that way, right? So always go back and check. Go back and check your belief. Okay, Vineet, it was just about an example of, what is the confirmation bias. So just a part of this only, right? Left-handed people are creative. Every time when I see this association, I confirm, right? I will never doubt this, because majority of the time what I've seen, or every time what I've seen, I found them more creative. So I will believe again. I will have another belief also. Right-handed people are not creative. Okay, so this is what, these kinds of beliefs that we have for ourselves shapes us as an individual, and that is the glass through which we see ourselves, right? So the past self is very important, right? For many of us, the past self could be the present self also. Nothing has changed over a period of time, right? But the past self is very important, and the past self, right, the experience which comes from our thoughts, from our emotions, from the conditions we have been, right, and locus of control, interjected values, condition of worth, all that we have experienced in our past, right? I hope we are very clear about the terms which are displayed here. Thoughts, we all know. Emotions, again, we know the power and the strength of these emotions. Conditioning, the conditioning aspect, if I align it with the interjected or condition of worth, both the things, right? Say, for example, every time, when you have satisfied the condition, you got the reward. Every time when the condition was not satisfied, you didn't got the reward. So our thoughts, our thought patterns create certain beliefs through which, we get conditioned. Like if you come first in the class, mama loves you the most. Condition of worth. You are worth it if you have justified this condition. And there are, I would again request you all to make a huge list of conditions which you never identified in your life. That ye condition aapne complete kari thi, to make somebody else feel good about you, or feeling good about your own self. So how are these conditions being projected or being thought or being ignored even? That is something important to be discovered, because your past self is most important to determine what you are in present and what you will be in the future. Locus of control, if I say, right, as I said, evaluation, always seeking it from the outside, so outside an approach. Majority of us rely more on the feedbacks rather than introspection. It's more of feedbacks from others. What happens? They, the external thing, external evaluation, whatever judgment comes from that evaluation, you stick so much to that evaluation, right? I was just going through my report cards, way back, the moment when I was shifted to India, after having my schooling there. And the first year was like, I was not able to settle up here, from Dubai to here, because here things were very narrow. And I was not that open up person in the class. And I had a result card, which I just saw before 3-4 months when I went back to my parent home. And in terms of my personality, they had always rated, very closed, very reserved, and like she lacks aspirations in life. So, things were so negative. And the teacher who had given that report card had been my favorite teacher all these years. And now when I post any flyer of any program that I do, she is the first person to come out and say, oh my God, all the best. right? A lot of blessings to you, beta. She never thought that to me. And luckily, I never got attached to those words. I got attached to her persona because she was beautiful, graceful, so much of knowledge and high energy person. So I got attached to that. But in case if I would have got attached to those remarks, just imagine what would have been my life, right? So again, how much is your life controlled by others? How much control do you have on your own life? That matters the most, right? So introspection is much important than the feedback or even the feed forwards. Introjected values, right? We never knew how those values got introjected in us. Like introjected means it is forced from outside and we take it, we make it ourselves. Biggest challenge of education is we have never overcome those introjected values. We have never challenged those introjected values. And so, as I said, we remain in the past image. Nothing has changed from past to present. Why? Because none of the values were questioned. Lack of introspection, right? So this is what is creating your image outside, in your life. And the other aspect to you, future. We all either live in the past or in the future. So when I say future, you're always having some aspiration to change yourself, improve the new version of you. What next? But we fail to understand that what next will come only and only when the new ideas, new values, new beliefs will be there, and you will be very optimistic about, this transformation which can happen if you really spare time with yourself. Right? So the future self that we want to have, what next that we want to have is to be created in the present. So present is the time when we question ourselves, everything about ourselves. We try to learn them, something which are not productive, not important, not gainful, not taking you forward, is to be unlearned, and you have to learn the new ways of living your life, of carrying yourself in your life, right? So that needs a lot of perseverance. And you know what? Continuously, when we get ourselves to know ourselves, we will be emerging ourselves continuously, right? So constantly we will be emerging, but for that, the condition applied is introspect, get back to your self-awareness. The more you are aware, the more you will be able to transform, and the more you will be able to see the future vision, the ideal vision, right, that you want yourself to be, right? So self-image and ideal image, there is a gap between two. How many of you are experiencing this gap? Please raise your hand. How many of you are experiencing this gap? Right? I'm sure many of you would be experiencing this gap, and this gap, right, is something, right, when it is mapped, when it is matched, right, the positive behavior will come forward, and this will bring you more higher self-worth. And the more you feel good about yourself, right, the more there is a match between the self-image and the ideal image, you will be able to see yourself actualizing, achieving everything that you want to have in your life. So when self-image gets blended to the ideal self-image, you have achieved yourself. You've got yourself, and you start living your life as a fully functional individual, open to all experiences, open to the present moment, open to life, open to your own self-doubt, your own weaknesses, right? So you're there openly waiting for the life to explore, and you are loving this journey of knowing and discovering yourself, right? So know yourself, choose yourself. Most important, to know yourself, you have to choose yourself, and to choose yourself, you have to give yourself your time, your attention, your focus, right? So now what do you see in the mirror? What do you see in the mirror? Right? See what you are through the mirror, identify who you are, have this time, pause, have that break, have that time, right? Detach yourself and see, critically see, lovingly see, empathize and see yourself through this mirror, and discover the strong person which exists within. and start building on that person. Make this image so strong, if you see this image, right, make this image get so strong, instilled in identifying the ideal you and achieving the ideal you. So pay attention, right? Whatever is happening outside is just an activity. Whatever is happening outside is just an activity. Whatever happens within is the life within you. That's you. So everything starts with you. Happily see yourself in the mirror and identify who you are. Thank you so much for all your time, all your attention, being enthusiastically engaged in the activities, right? I pause here, and in case if we have time, we can have the Q&A, and in case if we don't, you can always reach out to me, put forward my numbers and my contact details. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very good. Very good. Excellent.
Very good articulate.
Magical, Darshana. So
Thank you
much
so
of
much.
introspective. Magical is the word for today.
So this is just a small snippet of my 30 hours program, which is on emotional intelligence.
Oh.
Okay, so this is just 3 hours from that 30 hours. So there is a huge stuff, many tools, and as easy as it was, in that I can, you can easily use that without any coach or without any help of anybody else. So looking forward for your interest for that, and surely we'll be coming again, right? With so many things, like the kind of self-talk that we have, the kind of self-worth that we have. Are we pleaser? Are we influencer? Who am I? Again, as I said, this was the first level and the first layer, if I can just make it that precise. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, great.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Amazing. Amazing experience.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent, madam. Excellent presentation. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Any
Excellent
couple of
session,
questions we could
madam.
take
Excellent
in
session.
case.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Prakash. You have always been there in all my programs. Thank you so much.
Dr. Darshana, I have one question.
Please go ahead, sir.
Please, my feeling is, it is not a question, just an observation. My feeling is when we want to get the feedback, so we always try to catch a person who is very close to us or who will give us positive feedback. We don't try to get the, ourselves. When we say, oh, how I performed, we will go to a person, who is very friendly or give us a positive feedback. So we don't expect also negative feedback from. So what is your feeling?
Firstly, what you have to do is you have to introspect. You have to introspect yourself. As I said, that is the first key of self-awareness. In that introspection, when you identify, when you unfold yourself to the max, then somebody else will be very honest to give you the feedback, because they know that you are going in that depth of yourself. You are identifying the weaknesses and the flaws together with your strength. So they know that you will be able to accept the feedbacks. At times, people don't give the feedback, or they don't give the blunt feedback because, we feel that सामने वाला उसको हजम नहीं कर पाएगा. They will not be able to digest that. And that is where, you hesitate to give the feedback. And at times, people are waiting for you to come and ask.
Okay. So same thing
Yes,
applies
Mr.
to
Jagdish.
Yes.
Sorry.
Same thing applies to us also. When we want to give feedback, we always try to give healthy feedback so that one is motivated.
So Arun sir has always said, feedbacks are not healthy, unhealthy. They are just as honest, as authentic, as clear as they have to be. They should be. So, even at times, हमें पता है कि, करेला कड़वा है. Still we use that, why? Because we know it is good for the health. So even at times when you have people who are so close to you, be open and tell them, if you will not tell them, somebody else, when they will be saying, they will be more disheartened. आपके सामने रो पड़ेंगे, टूट जाएंगे, फिर से संभालोगे आप. कोई और आके बोलेगा, right? They will not be able to, gain up those pieces of themselves in front of you. Yes,
Ma'am,
Mr.
can you
Jagdish.
put, can you could please give an example of introject value with example?
Yeah, just a second. I will do that. I will do that. Jagdish, yes.
Actually, this self-assessment part through feedback is very intangible one. And people, most of the time, they want to please you. They will not tell the truth. Always they will relative term, you are good, you are so good, you are okay. That way we cannot judge ourselves or decide how good we are or how bad we are. There should be
So
some
that is why I
yes,
said
how
introspection.
to,
You know how
yes,
much you are going to your own depth. Somebody else will be following you till that depth.
Actually,
Yes, Mr.
people,
Savan, I could recognize that you were my colleague. Thank you so much for joining the program.
very good, very good. Actually,
Yeah, thank
people know what is your strength. And when you perform even little better than that, your strength, they appreciate you. Very good, very good. Even you may not be,
Yes.
still you need a lot of improvement. That is
Yes,
what I
yes.
want to say. Yes.
Yes. Indrajitu, sir, please unmute yourself. You have raised your hand.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. It's a wonderful presentation.
Thank you
I
so
know that
much.
you are the expert in the field. I have only one question. Who is the person, best person to give the feedback? When we are child.
Who's the person?
When we are child, give the feedback. So when we are child, we spend more time with grandmother, grandfather, sometimes with mother, okay, father, and most of the time we spend with our teacher during school time. Maybe now it is missing. Then after that, okay, when we come back home, we play with our friends. So
you're asking me who is the right person to give you the feedback, right?
Right person to give the perfect feedback. Say most of the time.
See, if you go back and you tell me that as a child, who was the best person to give you the feedback? I don't know. This is my belief. I don't know. This is my belief, and this is what I'm clarifying earlier. I believe kids do not need feedback. They need more of acceptance. If there is acceptance, kids are so strong to introspect and come out saying that, Mama, I did this wrong. Madam, I did this wrong. Daddy, I did this wrong. They have that natural openness to accept themselves as they are, with all their flaws, with all their strength. And this is what I have been practicing, with my son. I don't give him feedback. Now he is 7, and now I'm starting to develop that relation, to develop that conversation where I'm now asking him questions so that he can get into himself and he can introspect more deeper and he can identify what went wrong, what went good. I don't tell him that, beta, you did this good, you did that bad. I just pose the right questions. Now we need feedback because the child in us don't know kahan pe usko chhod ke aaye hain. Right, so self-awareness again takes you, more closer to that child in you. इसलिए वापस जाना खुद के अंदर बहुत जरूरी है. Yes, anything else? Any more questions?
Good.
I hope I've
Thank you
answered
very much.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
How do we start our life from today, at this moment?
How do you start your life from today?
From
Firstly, just give a tight hug to yourself. Love the person who is there in front of you in that mirror. Give all the blessings, all good wishes that you have been giving all around to the people, right? Just give yourself the best first. Then gradually you can build upon understanding who you are. As I said, feedback इसलिए नहीं दे पाते हैं या नहीं ले पाते क्योंकि अंदर एक weakness है. There is some weakness which is not allowing you to accept what is the feedback. So वो strength कहाँ से आएगी? That strength comes from the gratitude. That strength comes from love. That strength comes from compassion. Empathy के बारे में किसी ने बोला था. I've written here, but I just, in the interest of time, I did not touch upon that. Empathy सबके लिए है, खुद के लिए क्यों नहीं है? Why aren't we that empathized to ourselves? Why are we so strict to ourselves? Right? Self-love. Everywhere people are talking about that. And even people who are talking about that, they are not practicing that. Even I fail to practice it at some point of time. Love yourself first, then be critical. Right? छोटा बच्चा होता है तो क्या करते हैं उसके साथ? रात को सोता नहीं है, जगता है, जगाता है, सिर्फ प्यार देते हैं. खुद को प्यार दो पहले, फिर जो भी बदलाव करना है उसके लिए हिम्मत आएगी और आप खुद उसको कर पाओगे. So for today, look in the mirror, give yourself a kiss, hug yourself, and just feel the best about yourself.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. It's a very wonderful presentation, wonderful topic.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Seema
you.
ma'am,
Thank you. Let us close now.
I
Thank you
think,
so much.
yeah, just give me an opportunity to close the session formally. Is that okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Dr.
Excellent.
Darshana, I mean, we are very thankful to you that within those committed 2 hours, actually, you gave an extremely good insight into not only where do we get wrong, but how do we go from here onwards. Thank you for that, those amazing insights provided within the short span of time for this such a big subject, actually. Now, this particular series, we are going to continue on the coming Monday. And on Monday, we will have Mr. Suresh Ramratnan to deliver the session on the secret of success, building world-class organization. So please register and be there even for the next episode, which will be on coming Monday.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Bye-bye and good night, everyone. Thank you, Darshana.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, Darshana.
Thank you, Darshana.
Choose yourself. Choose
Thank you,
yourself. Choose
Darshana.
yourself.
बहुत
Choose
बहुत बढ़िया
yourself.
section. Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darshana.
Good presentation, Darshana. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Darshana.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Darshana, for a beautiful presentation. Thank you.
आप लोगों को भी नहीं जाना है, मुझे भी नहीं जाना है, पर next session होगा. Let us close. I can go on. Thank you.